Today we're going to talk about a subject that not many video game commentaries talk about, and that is video game addiction. What is going on YouTube? King Kevin here with some Black Ops 3 TDM gameplay on Redwood. Now, before I get started, I want to say that I am doing this video in a slightly different style, not so much of the content that I'm producing, but more so the way I'm doing it. I got a comment on my last video saying that I should probably try to appear to be more candid rather than talking off a script, and that's exactly what I'm doing. We're going to give it a shot here and see how it goes. Let me know what you guys think about it, and if you have any other suggestions for things that you guys would like to see improved in these videos, or the kinds of things you would like to see, go ahead and leave that comment down below, and I would be happy to consider your input. So let's get to the topic at hand, and that is, again, video game addiction. So there was actually a personal thing that happened to me that inspired me to create this commentary, and that was that I feel like perhaps I might be ever so slightly addicted to video games, and this became very apparent to me when I spent about a week without my gaming PC. Now, for those of you guys who watched my previous video, you guys know that I built a gaming PC earlier this summer, and ever since then I've been playing a lot of Black Ops 3, a lot of Call of Duty, and a lot of video games in general. So, of course, having video games always at my disposal whenever I was bored or whenever I wasn't doing something else with my friends at home or whatever was always a great thing to have, because I could always, do something I've always wanted to do, which was play video games, and at my own leisure, always had access to it, etc., etc. However, I'm moving on to graduate school relatively soon. Actually, it should be starting in, I think, a couple weeks from now, actually, by the time I release this video. And I decided to move in like my bed and then also stay in my new apartment for about a week so that I could not only potentially go on a tour of the campus I'm going to be practically living at for the next 2 years, but also because some of my friends were coming down to the area, so I wanted to go meet up with them. So there's a lot of reasons why I wanted to stay for that entire week. And of course, because it was only a week, I didn't bring my gaming PC. I did bring my laptop just so I could do some things here and there, like read my emails, surf the web, things like that, but my laptop is nowhere near capable of running games at 1080p at 60 frames per second like you're watching right now. So I decided to move in here for about a week. Again, just have my mattress and some small furniture, but after, putting together all the furniture and cleaning up some and organizing my room a little bit, which is still a little bit empty, I felt like I just wanted to unwind. I drove about an hour and a half to get here, and the weather was awful. There was a huge rainstorm that came by, and I could not actually see out my windshield. It was that bad. And I was just kind of exhausted from the drive, exhausted from moving my bed up here, and just rearranging the furniture. There wasn't AC, so it was really hot, and I was just really, kind of all grossed out and just wanted to unwind and relax. And of course, most people do that, or at least I do that, by playing video games. But not having that at my disposal was something that I wasn't really used to, and that sounds pretty pathetic and kind of petty, I know, but this was something that actually kind of shocked me when I realized that, hey, I don't have video games anymore, and I'm gonna have to find a way to, entertain myself, keep myself busy or whatever, so that I don't die of boredom in the week that I'm staying here. At first, I thought that I had actually brought like a normal computer mouse to use with my laptop, and my laptop can run really simple games like CSGO, Left 4 Dead 2, like the basic Valve games that require like a potato to run at least. So my laptop was able to run that, so I was like, okay, maybe I can still, instead of playing Call of Duty, maybe I can play some of these other games I still enjoy very much, and have some video game enjoyment just like that. However, I realized that I didn't actually pack that mouse. It was probably just a thought I had in my head, but then never actually went and did it. So I was kind of disappointed that, okay, I didn't have a good mouse to use to play video games. And of course, pretty much playing any video game with a trackpad is awful, although some people have done it, or read an article about some guy who finished Portal 2 using only the trackpad on his Mac, which, wild story from the beginning, right? You don't expect an FPS game to be able to work with a trackpad on a Mac. Granted, I did 2 of those 3 things. I played Portal 2 on my Mac, but I actually had a mouse because whatever. But long story short, I didn't have a mouse, couldn't play games all that much. I mean, I could play games that were like key-based, so like things that involve the arrow keys or whatever, but that's not nearly as stimulating or as exciting as something like Call of Duty or any other FPS game that I'd like to play. So seeing as I couldn't go for my first option of playing video games myself, I kind of resorted to a second choice that I had thought of, which was watching people play video games, watching them stream on Twitch, on YouTube Gaming, whatever the platform may be. But regardless, I still wasn't quite happy. I even tried to stimulate myself twice as much by doing the multi-Twitch thing, where I had one streamer and then another streamer just tagged on one screen, and I tried to follow both of them at the same time, and like it was good because I was getting stimulated the way that I wanted to, but I kind of took a step back and realized that this is kind of pathetic, that I have to find a way to stimulate myself so much that I'm actually kind of struggling with it. And this goes back to, again, the whole topic of, am I addicted to video games or not, or just the general topic of video game addiction. And to kind of answer that question, I think the answer is not quite. I feel like if the summer were like maybe 2 months longer and I still had all that time to kind of ingrain the idea of playing video games in my head, then I think the video game addiction would actually be very serious for me. But the reason why I don't think that I have it right now, despite everything I've just said, is because when I got back from that week that I was away, that week when I was living in my apartment with no gaming PC, I did admittedly jump onto my computer and then start playing Call of Duty again. However, the experience was not as enjoyable and not as, kind of stimulating. It wasn't quite as, pleasurable, I guess. That's kind of a weird word to use. You know what I mean. So it wasn't as satisfying to come back and play the game as it was beforehand. And I think one of the key characteristics that, kind of indicates that someone is or isn't addicted to something is the fact that, when they finally get access to it again, what their reaction is. I'm not saying that I wasn't happy to be back. I definitely was happy to be back at home with my gaming PC, playing video games. But again, it wasn't as satisfying as I thought it would be. And, for that reason, I was also able to just basically play Black Ops 3, finish the daily contract, quit the game, continue doing all the things I had to do. I had to think about packing to, move into my new apartment permanently. So I went ahead and did that, and then I was able to, get my mind off it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think that video game addiction is a thing to worry about? And do you guys, if any of you who are gamers out there, do you have any experiences that are similar to mine? What are your thoughts on video game addiction? Do you think you might be addicted? Think not, hopefully not. But regardless, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I would love to hear your feedback, and also feedback about the video itself in terms of the quality and the things that I'm talking about and the style of whether or not you'd like me to do these live commentaries, things like that. So that will wrap it up for this video. Thanks so much for watching, and if you haven't already, please feel free to rate, comment, and subscribe for more content in the future, and I'll see you guys in the next video.